Imagine this: you've spent months, maybe even years, preparing for your green card journey. You've gathered documents, filled out forms, and now the most crucial step stands between you and your dream of permanent residency: the USCIS interview. But here's the catch: the rules for 2025 have changed, and these changes are nothing like what applicants faced before. In recent months, USCIS has quietly rolled out new interview procedures that could completely alter how your case is reviewed. These updates aren't just small tweaks, they include stricter documentation checks, enhanced fraud detection measures, and even unexpected new questions that many applicants are failing to answer correctly. Some applicants have even reported being caught off guard by surprise in-person verifications and shortened response times to provide missing evidence. Why is this happening? USCIS says these changes are designed to improve national security and streamline the process, but for applicants, it means being more prepared than ever. One wrong move, missing a single piece of evidence, misunderstanding a question, or failing to meet new deadlines could lead to delays, additional interviews, or even denials. The good news? You don't have to face this alone. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what these 2025 rule changes mean for you, how they could affect your green card interview, and most importantly, how you can prepare to succeed despite the new challenges. So, if your interview is coming up, or even if you're still months away from it, you need to watch this video to the very end. Hit that like button right now so more applicants like you can stay informed, and let's dive into everything you need to know to secure your green card in 2025. All right, let's get right into it. Because if you're watching this, chances are you're either preparing for your USCIS interview or you know someone who is. And let me tell you, the changes coming in 2025 are not something you can afford to ignore. So, take a deep breath, grab a cup of coffee, and stick with me, because by the time we're done, you'll not only understand these changes, but you'll also feel a lot more confident walking into that interview room. First, let's talk about what's really behind these updates. USCIS has been under a lot of pressure to improve the immigration process. They're dealing with huge backlogs, they're facing political pressure to tighten security, and they're also trying to ensure that every applicant truly meets the requirements for permanent residency. In 2025, this has translated into a set of rules that are both stricter and more unpredictable. What does that mean for you? It means you need to prepare like never before, because the interview is no longer just a routine formality. It's a deep dive into your case, your background, and even your intentions. One of the biggest changes applicants are already noticing is the increased focus on documentation. In the past, you might have gotten away with a missing piece of evidence or something small like a photo that wasn't perfectly clear. Not anymore. Officers now have much less tolerance for incomplete files, and they've been instructed to issue requests for evidence much faster. If you can't provide what they ask for within their new, tighter deadlines, your case could be delayed for months or even denied outright. So, double-check everything: your birth certificates, marriage records, employment letters, proof of financial support, whatever applies to your case. Make sure it's perfect and ready to present. Another surprising shift is in the types of questions officers are now asking. These aren't just the standard "how did you meet your spouse?" or "where do you work?" type of questions. Many applicants have reported being asked more detailed and even personal questions about their daily life, their relationship, and their ties to the U.S. The reason is simple: USCIS is cracking down on fraud, and they're using these interviews to really gauge whether your story adds up. That means you need to know your own case inside and out. If you're applying through marriage, be prepared to answer things like who cooks dinner in your household, what side of the bed you sleep on, or even what you did last weekend. If you're applying through employment, they might ask about specific duties you perform at work or even the name of your supervisor. It can feel invasive, but it's their way of ensuring everything checks out. And speaking of invasiveness, let's talk about a new element that's catching many applicants off guard: surprise verifications. Yes, in 2025, USCIS has started incorporating unannounced home visits and employer verifications into some cases. This doesn't happen to everyone, but if your case raises any red flags or seems inconsistent, don't be surprised if they dig deeper. This means honesty and consistency are more important than ever. Never, and I mean never, try to hide or fabricate information. It's just not worth the risk. Now, here's something you might not have heard about yet. USCIS is also using new technology to cross-check information. They're looking at social media, they're running advanced background checks, and they're comparing your answers with the information they already have on file. This is why you should make sure everything matches your forms, your documents, and what you say during the interview. A small inconsistency might not seem like a big deal to you, but to an officer, it could raise a red flag. I know this might sound overwhelming, and you might be sitting there thinking, how am I supposed to keep up with all this? Don't worry, I've got you. The key to handling these changes is preparation. Start early, review your entire application, and if you have a spouse or sponsor, go over the details together. Practice answering questions out loud, because sometimes it's not about what you know, but how confidently you can express it. Officers are trained to pick up on hesitation, so being calm and prepared can make all the difference. Another thing I want to touch on is the emotional side of this process. The interview isn't just a test of your paperwork. It's a test of your patience, your nerves, and your ability to stay composed under pressure. Many applicants walk in feeling nervous, and that's completely normal. But remember, the officer isn't there to intimidate you. They're there to do their job, which is to verify the information you've provided. So, take a moment to breathe before you walk in. Make eye contact, answer honestly, and don't be afraid to say you don't know something if you genuinely don't. It's better to admit uncertainty than to guess and get it wrong. One of the most encouraging things I can tell you is that despite these changes, thousands of people are still successfully passing their interviews every single day. The new rules might be tougher, but they're not impossible to navigate. In fact, they actually reward those who take the process seriously. If you're prepared, if your case is strong, and if you've been truthful from the beginning, you have every reason to feel confident. I also want to remind you that you don't have to go through this alone. There are countless resources, immigration attorneys, and even community organizations that can help you get ready. Sometimes just having someone review your documents or do a mock interview with you can ease a lot of your anxiety. Don't hesitate to seek help if you need it. It's an investment in your future. As we wrap up this section, I want you to picture yourself sitting in that interview room. Imagine you're handing over your documents with confidence, answering every question clearly, and walking out knowing you've given it your best shot. That's the mindset you need to carry with you. These new rules may seem intimidating, but they don't define your chances of success. You do. With the right preparation and attitude, you can absolutely overcome these challenges and take that final step toward becoming a permanent resident. So stay with me, because in the next part of this video, we're going to break down exactly how to prepare step by step, including what to bring, what to expect on the day of your interview, and the most common mistakes to avoid in 2025. You won't want to miss it. And if you found this helpful so far, don't forget to like this video right now, because it helps other green card applicants find this information and stay ahead of these shocking new USCIS changes. Let's keep going. You've got this.